High above the glittering capital of the Galactic Empire, Grand Admiral Zorn stood on the observation deck of his massive starship. His eyes, cold and calculating, swept over the countless stars that made up his domain. A smug smile played on his thin lips as he thought about how easily the Empire had conquered every known civilization in the galaxy. Another boring day in paradise, Zorn muttered to himself. He turned to his second-in-command, Commander Vex, who was busy tapping away at a holographic screen. Any news from the outer regions? Vex looked up, his antennae twitching slightly. Nothing of importance, sir. Just the usual minor squabbles between the lesser races. Zorn nodded, unsurprised. It had been centuries since any real challenge had presented itself to the Empire. They had grown comfortable in their supremacy, confident that no force in the galaxy could stand against them. Little did they know that their greatest threat was brewing on a small blue planet they had all but forgotten. In a dimly lit war room deep beneath the surface of Earth, General Sarah Chen pored over holographic maps of the solar system. Her team of scientists and military strategists worked tirelessly around her, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of advanced computer screens. "How are the final preparations coming along?" Chen asked, her voice steady but tinged with anticipation. Dr. Amit Patel, the lead scientist of Earth's secret space program, looked up from his work. "We're right on schedule, General. The last of the stealth ships will be ready for deployment within the week." Chen allowed herself a small smile. For decades, Earth had been quietly preparing for this moment, while the Galactic Empire saw them as nothing more than a primitive backwater world. Humanity had been hard at work, developing technologies that would make even the most advanced Empire ships look like children's toys. And the Empire still suspects nothing? Chen asked, though she already knew the answer. "Absolutely not," replied Colonel Jack O'Neill, head of intelligence. "Our last report shows they still think we're struggling to achieve basic spaceflight. They have no idea about our quantum drives, our plasma weapons, or our advanced AI systems." Chen nodded, satisfaction evident in her eyes. Earth's leaders had made the difficult decision long ago to keep their advancements secret, knowing that revealing their true capabilities too soon would only invite destruction from the Empire. Back on the Empire's capital world, young cadet Lyra found herself daydreaming during yet another boring lecture on galactic history. The professor droned on about the Empire's glorious conquests, but Lyra's mind wandered to the stars beyond. "And of course," the professor said, his voice monotonous, "we mustn't forget the quaint little world called Earth, a planet so insignificant we barely bother to monitor it." This caught Lyra's attention. She had always been fascinated by stories of lesser-known worlds. "Professor," she asked, raising her hand, "why don't we pay more attention to Earth? Couldn't they be hiding something?" The entire class erupted in laughter. Even the professor chuckled condescendingly. "My dear girl," he said, shaking his head, "Earth is nothing more than a primitive rock floating in space. They've barely managed to send a few crude satellites into orbit. The idea that they could pose any kind of threat is simply absurd." Lyra sank back into her seat, embarrassed but unconvinced. Something in her gut told her that underestimating any world, no matter how small, was a dangerous mistake. As the Empire continued in its complacency, Earth's hidden fleet grew stronger by the day. In secret underground hangars and orbital shipyards cloaked from prying eyes, humanity's masterpiece took shape. Sleek, powerful ships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen stood ready for action. General Chen walked along the rows of gleaming vessels, her heart swelling with pride. Soon, very soon, the Galactic Empire would learn that they weren't the only power in the universe, and when that day came, Earth would be ready. Little did the Empire know that their age of unchallenged dominion was coming to an end. The balance of power in the galaxy was about to shift dramatically, and it would all begin with the revelation of Earth's hidden fleet and its advanced design. The stage was set, the players were in position, and the greatest shock in galactic history was about to unfold. Deep within the hollowed-out core of Earth's moon, A hive of activity buzzed day and night. This was Luna Base, the heart of humanity's clandestine space program. Here, for the past 50 years, Earth's brightest minds had worked tirelessly to prepare for the day when they would reveal themselves to the galaxy. Dr. Emily Wong, chief engineer of the program, stood before a massive holographic display. It showed the schematics of Earth's pride and joy. The ESS Prometheus, their most advanced warship. "Run the simulation again," she ordered, her eyes never leaving the display. Her assistant, a young prodigy named Alex, nodded and tapped a few commands into his tablet. The hologram sprang to life, showing the Prometheus engaging in battle with a simulated Empire dreadnought. The result was the same as it had been the last 100 times they'd run the test. The Empire ship, despite its imposing size, was no match for the Prometheus. Earth's vessel danced around its opponent, its advanced shields shrugging off attacks while its own weapons tore through the Empire's defenses like paper. Emily allowed herself a small smile. "Perfect," she murmured. Meanwhile, in a secure facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, General Chen was meeting with Earth's ruling council. The room was tense, filled with the weight of the decisions they were about to make. "Ladies and gentlemen," Chen began, her voice steady, "we're approaching the point of no return. Our fleet is ready. Our technology is leagues beyond anything the Empire possesses. The question now is, when do we reveal ourselves?" President Ameri, a stern woman with graying hair, leaned forward. "What's the status of Operation Ghost?" Chen tapped her tablet, bringing up a holographic map of the solar system. Dozens of green dots appeared, representing Earth's hidden fleet. "Our ships are in position, cloaked and undetected. We can strike at any time. And you're certain the Empire remains unaware?" This from Chancellor Zhang, his brow furrowed with concern. "Absolutely," Chen replied. "Our latest intelligence confirms they still see us as a backwater world. They have no idea what's coming." The room fell silent as the weight of the moment settled upon them. For generations, Earth had played the part of the primitive world, all while secretly preparing for this very moment. Across the galaxy, on a bustling trade world, an Empire customs officer named Dax was having the strangest day of his career. He'd been processing the usual flow of merchant ships when something odd caught his eye. "Hey, Kira," he called to his partner, "come look at this." Kira sauntered over, her 4 eyes blinking curiously. "What is it?" Dax pointed to his screen. "This ship that just docked. It's registered as a basic freighter from some backwater system. But these energy readings don't make sense." Kira leaned in, her antennae twitching as she studied the data. "You're right. That's impossible. No freighter should have an energy signature like that. It's more powerful than our military cruisers." Dax felt a chill run down his spine. "Should we report this?" Kira hesitated, then shook her head. "Nah, it's probably just a glitch in the system. Besides, can you imagine telling the higher-ups we think we found a super-advanced ship from a primitive world? They'd laugh us out of a job." Dax nodded, relieved. "You're right. It's probably nothing." As they returned to their work, neither of them realized they had just missed the first sign of Earth's impending revelation. Back on Earth, in a classroom in New Beijing, a group of children sat enraptured as their teacher, Mr. Li, told them a story. "And so," Mr. Li said, his eyes twinkling, "while the big bad Empire thought Earth was sleeping, we were actually building the most amazing ships the galaxy has ever seen." A little girl raised her hand. "But Mr. Li, won't the Empire be angry when they find out?" Mr. Li smiled gently. "Perhaps, but we're not trying to fight them. We just want to show them that we're strong enough to be treated as equals. And who knows, maybe we'll even teach them a thing or two about peace." As the children chattered excitedly about the idea of Earth's ships zooming through space, none of them realized how soon their teacher's story would become reality. The stage was set. Earth's fleet was ready. The greatest revelation in galactic history was about to begin, and the unsuspecting Empire had no idea what was coming. The day of revelation dawned bright and clear over Earth. In orbit, hidden behind advanced cloaking technology, Earth's fleet hung silent and ready. On the bridge of the flagship ESS Prometheus, Admiral James Harper stood tall, his weathered face a mask of determination. "All ships report ready, sir," his executive officer, Commander Sarah Chen, announced. Harper nodded, taking a deep breath. "Send the signal. It's time to show the galaxy who we really are." Across the solar system, Earth's hidden fleet shimmered into view. Sleek, powerful ships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen suddenly appeared, their hulls gleaming in the starlight. On Mars Colony, a routine Empire inspection was underway. Captain Zax, a bored-looking alien with blue skin and 3 eyes, yawned as he went through the motions. Mars was considered a backwater outpost, hardly worth the Empire's time. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the colony. Zax jumped, his antennae quivering. "What in the name of the Emperor is that?" he shouted. A junior officer, eyes wide with shock, pointed at the view screen. "Sir, look." Zax turned and felt his 3 hearts stop. The sky above Mars was filled with ships. Not the crude, simplistic vessels he expected from Earth, but advanced warships that put even the Empire's best to shame. "Impossible," Zax whispered, his blue skin turning pale. Back on the Prometheus, Admiral Harper opened a channel to the Mars colony. "This is Admiral James Harper of the Earth Space Fleet. We come in peace, but we will no longer hide our true capabilities. We request an audience with your Emperor." The stunned silence that followed was broken by Captain Zax's shaky voice. This is some kind of trick. Earth doesn't have this technology." Harper allowed himself a small smile. "I assure you, Captain, this is no trick. Earth has been preparing for this day for generations. We've achieved technological advances that may surprise you." News of Earth's fleet spread through the galaxy like wildfire. On the Empire's capital world, Celestia Prime, the Imperial Palace was in chaos. Emperor Zorn Xi, a being of immense size and even greater ego, bellowed at his advisors. "How is this possible? How did we not know about this?" Grand Vizier Kal, his tentacles writhing nervously, tried to explain. "Your Majesty, all our intelligence suggested Earth was a primitive world. We never imagined they could be hiding such advanced technology." Zorn's eyes narrowed dangerously. "And now they have a fleet that could challenge our own. This is unacceptable." Meanwhile, on Earth, the streets were filled with celebration. In Times Square, New York, giant screens showed the first images of Earth's fleet revealing itself to the galaxy. Among the crowd, 10-year-old Timmy jumped up and down, pointing at the screens. "Look, Mom, our ships are so cool." His mother, Sarah, smiled but couldn't hide the worry in her eyes. "Yes, they are, honey, but I hope the Empire sees we want peace, not war." In orbit around Jupiter, an Empire patrol ship found itself face-to-face with an Earth destroyer. The Empire captain, a veteran named Grix, stared in awe at the sleek vessel before him. "By the stars," he muttered, "look at the design of that ship. The energy readings. It's like nothing I've ever seen." His science officer, Zila, nodded in agreement. "Sir, preliminary scans suggest their technology is at least a century ahead of ours. Maybe more." Grix felt a chill run down his spine. How did they keep this secret for so long? And what else might they be hiding? As the day wore on, more and more of Earth's advanced technology came to light. Reports flooded in from across the galaxy of Earth ships appearing near major Empire installations, always peaceful but unmistakably powerful. On the Prometheus, Admiral Harper received a transmission from Earth's unified government. President Ameri's face appeared on the screen, her expression a mix of pride and concern. "Admiral, the Empire has agreed to talks. They're sending a delegation to Earth. This is our chance to reshape the galaxy's future." Harper nodded solemnly. "Understanding, "Madam President, we'll make sure they receive a proper welcome." As the Prometheus turned towards Earth, Harper couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. The unveiling had gone smoothly, but the real challenge was just beginning. How would the Empire react in the long term? And how would this change the balance of power in the galaxy? One thing was certain: the age of Earth hiding in the shadows was over. A new era had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The grand halls of the Imperial Palace on Celestia Prime, usually a picture of order and control, had descended into chaos. Emperor Zorn Xi sat on his crystalline throne, his massive form trembling with rage as his advisors scurried about in panic. "I want answers," Zorn bellowed, his voice echoing off the ornate walls. "How did Earth hide this from us for so long?" Grand Admiral Kex, the Empire's top military mind, stepped forward. His usually impeccable uniform was rumpled, evidence of the sleepless nights since Earth's revelation. "Your Majesty," Kex began, his voice strained, "we've analyzed the data from our encounters with Earth's fleet. Their technology, it's unlike anything we've ever seen." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "Explain." Kex tapped a device on his wrist, and a holographic display sprang to life in the center of the throne room. It showed an Earth ship next to an Imperial dreadnought. The size difference was stark. The Earth ship was much smaller, yet readings showed it was far more powerful. "Their energy output is off the charts," Kex continued. "Their shields can withstand our strongest weapons, and their propulsion systems, well, we're not even sure how they work." A murmur of disbelief rippled through the assembled advisors. Meanwhile, in the Imperial War Room, generals and admirals argued loudly over star charts and battle plans. "We should strike now," shouted General Vex, slamming his fist on the table, "before they can spread their fleet further." Admiral Zara, an older, more experienced officer, shook her head. "And risk all-out war with a technologically superior force. That's suicide." "Then what do you suggest?" Vex sneered. "We just sit back and watch as they take over our territory." Zara's eyes flashed dangerously. "I suggest we gather more intelligence before we do anything rash. We don't even know their full capabilities yet." In the lower levels of the Imperial City, the panic had spread to the general population. Rumors flew faster than starships, each more outlandish than the last. In a crowded bar, a group of off-duty soldiers huddled around a news hologram. The reporter, a green-skinned alien with antenna, was mid-sentence. "And sources say that Earth's ships can travel faster than light without entering hyperspace. If true, this would revolutionize space travel as we know it." One soldier, a grizzled veteran named Krax, shook his head in disbelief. "I don't believe it. I've fought all over this galaxy, and I've never seen anything like what they're describing." His younger companion, a fresh-faced recruit called Zix, looked worried. "But what if it's true? What chance do we stand against ships like that?" Krax didn't have an answer. Back in the Imperial Palace, Emperor Zorn had called an emergency meeting with his top scientists. Dr. Quix, the head of Imperial Research and Development, looked nervous as she addressed the Emperor. "Your Majesty, we've been analyzing the energy signatures from Earth's fleet. Their power source, it's like nothing we've ever encountered. Can we replicate it?" Zorn demanded. Quix hesitated. "Honestly, sir, we don't even understand how it works. It would take years, maybe decades, to reverse engineer their technology." The Emperor's face darkened. "We don't have years. We need solutions now." As night fell on Celestia Prime, the Empire's spy networks were working overtime. In a dark alley, a hooded figure passed a data chip to an Imperial agent. "This is all the information we have on Earth's fleet," the informant whispered. "But be warned, it's not much. They've guarded their secrets well." The agent nodded grimly. "At this point, we'll take whatever we can get." In orbit above Celestia Prime, the Imperial home fleet had been placed on high alert. Captain Lorne stood on the bridge of his star destroyer, staring out at the vast expanse of space. "Any sign of Earth ships?" he asked his sensor officer. "Negative, sir," came the reply. "But with their stealth technology, would we even know if they were here?" Lorne suppressed a shudder. The thought of enemy ships being able to slip past their defenses undetected was terrifying. As the Empire scrambled to respond to this unprecedented threat, one question echoed through every level of their society. How had they underestimated Earth so badly? And more importantly, what was Earth planning to do with its newfound power? The next few days would be crucial. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and for the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire found itself on the back foot, reacting instead of controlling. The age of imperial dominance was over. A new era had begun, and no one knew quite what to expect. The grand conference room aboard the Earth flagship ESS Prometheus was a sight to behold. On one side sat the Earth delegation, led by President Ameri, her calm demeanor masking the tension she felt. On the other side, the imperial representatives, headed by Grand Vizier Call, looked distinctly uncomfortable. Admiral Harper stood at attention near the door, his presence a reminder of Earth's newfound military might. President Ameri spoke first, her voice steady. "Gentlemen, we've called this meeting to explain our actions and hopefully to forge a new understanding between Earth and the Empire." Grand Vizier Call's tentacles twitched nervously. "Understanding. You've been deceiving us for decades. How can we trust anything you say?" Ameri's eyes narrowed slightly. "We did what was necessary to protect ourselves. Surely you can understand that." Meanwhile, on Earth, crowds had gathered outside government buildings worldwide. In Washington, D.C., a sea of people stretched from the Capitol to the Lincoln Memorial. Signs bobbed above the crowd, some supporting the government's actions, others demanding full disclosure. Sarah Chen, now a civilian after years in the secret space program, stood in the crowd with her son, Timmy. "Mom," Timmy asked, his young face scrunched in confusion, "why are some people angry? Didn't we do a good thing?" Sarah sighed, ruffling her son's hair. "It's complicated, honey. Some people are scared of change, and others don't like that we kept secrets." Back on the Prometheus, the talks were heating up. Dr. Emily Wong, Earth's chief scientist, was explaining the basics of their advanced technology. "Our quantum drives allow us to travel faster than light without entering hyperspace," she said, pointing to a holographic display. "And our fusion reactors provide nearly limitless clean energy." An imperial scientist, his three eyes wide with amazement, couldn't help but ask, "How? How did you achieve this level of technology without us noticing?" Dr. Wong allowed herself a small smile. "We had a lot of motivation to keep quiet and work hard." In the depths of space, near the border of Empire territory, an Earth patrol ship and an Imperial cruiser faced each other. Neither had weapons charged, but the tension was palpable. Captain Maria Rodriguez of the ESS Defiant opened a channel to the Imperial ship. "Imperial vessel, this is Captain Rodriguez. We're conducting a routine patrol. There's no cause for alarm." The Imperial captain, a reptilian being named Slith, hissed back, "You have no authority here, Earthship. This is Empire space." Rodriguez kept her voice calm. "Actually, according to the new diplomatic agreements being discussed, this area is now neutral territory." Slith's hiss turned into a low growl. "We'll see about that." On a distant mining world, news of Earth's revelation had sparked hope among the oppressed workers. In a dimly lit tavern, a group of miners huddled around a battered holoprojector. "Did you hear?" One miner whispered excitedly. "Earth's technology could free us from the Empire's control." Another miner, older and more cynical, shook his head. "Don't get your hopes up. One human world against the entire Empire. It won't last." "But what if other worlds join them?" A third miner chimed in. "This could be the beginning of real change." Back in the conference room, President Ameri was laying out Earth's proposal. "We're not interested in conquering the Empire," she explained. "We want to establish a new galactic order, one based on cooperation and mutual respect. Grand Vizier Kal scoffed. And if we refuse? Admiral Harper stepped forward, his voice firm. Then we'll have no choice but to defend ourselves and any others who wish to join us. Make no mistake, we don't want war, but we won't shy away from it either. The room fell silent as the weight of his words sank in. The Empire representatives exchanged worried glances. As the talks continued, word spread throughout the galaxy. On countless worlds, beings of all species watched and waited, wondering what this new development would mean for them. In the Galactic Senate, representatives argued fiercely. Some called for immediate action against Earth, while others urged caution and diplomacy. Senator Zara of Andromeda VI stood to address her peers. Colleagues, we stand at a crossroads. The actions we take now will shape the future of our galaxy for generations to come. We must choose wisely. As the debate raged on, one thing was clear. The galaxy was changing, and the old balance of power was crumbling. What would rise in its place remained to be seen, but one thing was certain. Earth would play a central role in shaping the new galactic order. The diplomatic dance had begun, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The future of the galaxy hung in the balance, with Earth and the Empire locked in a tense standoff. Who would blink first? The news of Earth's technological superiority spread like wildfire across the galaxy. On countless worlds, long-oppressed species began to see a glimmer of hope. The once unshakable galactic empire suddenly seemed vulnerable. On the lush jungle world of Verdania, the native Chlorosians gathered in their living tree cities. Their leader, Elder Zillith, addressed the crowd, her leaf-like hair swaying in the breeze. For centuries, we have bowed to the Empire's will, she said, her voice strong. But now, a new power has risen. Perhaps it is time we choose a different path. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the gathered Chlorosians. One young warrior stepped forward. But can we trust these Earthlings? What if they're no better than the Empire? Elder Zillith nodded sagely. A fair question. We must watch and wait, but also prepare. Our days of silent submission may be coming to an end. Meanwhile, in the bustling spaceport of Nexus Station, beings from 100 different species mingled, all discussing the same topic, Earth's revelation. A group of merchant captains sat in a smoky cantina, arguing over drinks. Captain Zork, a burly four-armed alien, slammed his mug on the table. I'm telling you, this changes everything. Think of the trade opportunities if Earth shares its tech. His friend, a sleek avian creature named Kree, chirped skeptically. Or think of the chaos if war breaks out. Our trade routes could be destroyed overnight. As they debated, more patrons joined in, the conversation growing louder and more heated. On the Empire's capital world, Celestia Prime, the mood was grim. In a secret underground bunker, Emperor Zorn Xi met with his most trusted advisors. The signs are clear, reported Spymaster Vex, his holographic form flickering slightly. We're seeing increased resistance on a dozen worlds. They're emboldened by Earth's example. The Emperor's face darkened. We must make an example of someone. Show the galaxy that defiance will not be tolerated. Grand Admiral Kex cleared his throat nervously. Your Majesty, I'm not sure that's wise. Any aggressive action might push more worlds into Earth's camp. Zorn's eyes flashed dangerously. Then what do you suggest? That we sit idly by as our empire crumbles. The room fell into an uncomfortable silence. Back on Earth, in the newly established Galactic Diplomatic Center in Geneva, Ambassador Sarah Chen was busy meeting with representatives from various alien species. A delegation from the aquatic world of Oceanus Prime sat across from her, their translucent bodies shimmering in the artificial light. We have long chafed under imperial rule. The lead diplomat burbled through his translator. If Earth could guarantee our protection, we would gladly align ourselves with you. Sarah leaned forward, her expression serious. We're committed to defending the rights of all sentient beings. But I want to be clear. We're not looking to replace the Empire as galactic overlords. We want partners, not subjects. The Oceanians conferred among themselves, clearly impressed by this approach. In a hidden rebel base on the ice moon of Frost VI, leaders of various resistance movements had gathered in secret. The room was a mix of species and cultures, all united in their opposition to the Empire. Corazon, a fierce warrior from the desert world of Eridus, stood to address the group. Friends, the moment we've been waiting for has arrived. Earth has shown us that the Empire is not invincible. Now is the time to strike. Cheers erupted from some, but others looked unsure. An elderly Tellerite raised his hand. But what if we're just trading one master for another? How do we know Earth won't turn on us once the Empire falls? The room erupted into heated discussion. As these scenes played out across the galaxy, the balance of power continued to shift. Small skirmishes broke out on the fringes of Empire space as emboldened rebels tested the waters. Trade routes began to change as merchants sought to curry favor with Earth. On the Prometheus, Admiral Harper watched the galactic news feeds with a mix of pride and concern. We wanted to change things, he mused to his XO, but I'm not sure anyone could have predicted this. Commander Chen nodded solemnly. The question is, sir, are we ready for what comes next? We've opened Pandora's box, and there's no closing it now. Harper's eyes remained fixed on the swirling galactic map before him, points of light flickering as reports came in from across the stars. Ready or not, he said quietly, we've started something big. Now we have to see it through. As the galaxy continued to churn with uncertainty and hope, one thing was clear. The old order was dying. What would emerge from the chaos remained to be seen, but Earth now stood at the center of it all, a beacon of change in a universe hungry for something new. One standard galactic year had passed since Earth revealed its true technological prowess to the universe. The grand halls of the newly constructed Galactic Council on Earth's moon buzzed with activity. Representatives from 100 worlds mingled, their diverse forms a testament to the new era of cooperation. At the center of it all stood President Amari, her hair now streaked with gray, a symbol of the stressful but productive months that had passed. Beside her, Admiral Harper surveyed the scene with quiet pride. I never thought I'd see the day, Harper murmured. Look at them all, working together. Amari nodded, a small smile on her face. It hasn't been easy, but we're getting there. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of an unexpected guest. Emperor Zorn Xi, now stripped of much of his former power, approached with a small entourage. President Amari, Zorn rumbled, his massive form somehow seeming smaller than before. I must admit, you've accomplished more than I thought possible. Amari extended her hand, which Zorn shook after a moment's hesitation. Thank you, Zorn. I hope we can continue to work together for the betterment of all. On the bustling trading hub of Nexus Station, the change was palpable. Ships from Earth now docked alongside vessels from across the galaxy, sharing technology and resources freely. In a busy marketplace, a young Verdanian named Thorna marveled at an Earth-made device. It's amazing, she said to the human merchant. This little thing can purify water for an entire village. The merchant, John, nodded enthusiastically. That's right, and we're happy to share the technology. No strings attached. Nearby, an imperial citizen watched the exchange with a mix of awe and lingering suspicion. But as he saw the joy on Thorna's face, his expression softened. Maybe this new way wasn't so bad after all. In the reformed Galactic Senate, now headquartered on a neutral world, debates were fiercer than ever. But there was a key difference. Every voice was heard, from the smallest colony to the largest system. Senator Zara of Andromeda VI stood to address her peers. My fellow senators, today we vote on the Galactic Cooperation Act. This will formalize our commitment to sharing knowledge, resources, and protection across all member worlds. As the votes were cast, a sense of history in the making filled the chamber. The final tally appeared on the giant screen. The act had passed with an overwhelming majority. Cheers erupted, not just in the Senate, but on countless worlds watching the proceedings. A new age had truly begun. Back on Earth, in a small classroom in New Beijing, Mr. Lee smiled as he addressed his students. Who can tell me about the new galactic government? A forest of hands shot up. Mr. Lee pointed to a bright-eyed girl in the front row. Earth leads the Galactic Council, she said proudly, but every world gets a say. We share our technology to help others, and they share theirs with us. It's about cooperation, not control. Mr. Lee beamed. Excellent, May. And why is this important? This time, a boy at the back spoke up. Because it means no more wars, right? Everyone's working together now. Mr. Lee's smile turned a bit sad. Well, it's not quite that simple. There are still challenges and disagreements. But yes, we're working towards a more peaceful galaxy for all. In orbit around Earth, the ESS Prometheus prepared for its latest mission. Admiral Harper stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. Course laid in, sir, his navigator reported. We're ready to depart for the aid mission to the Outer Rim. Harper nodded. Engage when ready. Let's show the galaxy what Earth can do when we extend a helping hand. As the Prometheus jumped to faster-than-light speed, Harper reflected on how far they'd come. Earth had revealed its strength, yes, but more importantly, it had revealed its heart. The path ahead wasn't easy, old grudges died hard, and not everyone embraced the new order. But for the first time in millennia, the galaxy had hope. The Galactic Empire, once all-powerful, was now just one voice among many in the Galactic Council. Earth, once thought a backwater, now stood as a beacon of progress and cooperation. And countless worlds, once oppressed or ignored, now had a chance to flourish. As the Prometheus streaked across the stars on its mission of peace, Harper smiled. The future was uncertain, but it was brighter than ever before. The age of empire was over. The age of unity had begun.